Hey YouTube, Dan Otto here, coming at you with a bonus video because I rage built a Shadow Charizard. I'm going to go over the team for like 1 minute, and then I'm actually going to go over, because I rage built this, I rage built a lot of things, and I can because I have like 10 million dust, but how do you use dust when building a Pokemon is actually a skill, because you want to have like a certain reserve. What happens if like meta changes and you don't have certain ones? So I'm going to give you, this video is just actually going to focus on what Pokemon you should actually focus on building and how I do it. So team Shadow Charizard was everywhere. It's a beast in this meta. Like, it doesn't have a lot of hard counters. I have seen a lot of A Gravelers come out, or A Golems too, just to knock it down, but Giratina is kind of a nice coverage for that. Ampharos outside of Virizion is pretty safe in this meta, right? That's the hardest punish. Otherwise it kind of hits for neutral on almost everything. So the team was pretty decent. But yeah, so in this meta I did a couple things. I built up a Virizion and double moved it because it was one of the top ranked and I want to showcase it. And then I built up this Ampharos from, like, it has a great IV, 0, 13, 14. And then the Shadow Charizard, I built up an Elite TM to wing attack on it. And so the question is now, how do you, if you're playing GBL, balance all these Pokemon? So I have, right now, I dropped below 10 million dust again. But I probably have, if I had to guess, maybe between Great League and Ultra League, 150 Pokemon to choose from between the two of those. Double moved. A lot more in the Great League. I have like maybe 50. If I had to guess, I'd say like 100 in Great League, 50 in Ultra League would be like my guess. I haven't counted. So the question is how, and I have 10 million dust because I've been playing since December 2018 is when I started, and I've already mentioned this before, I don't have any level 50 Pokemon yet. Like, I cannot play Open Master right now. I only have level 40 Pokemon that I think I talked to it in an earlier video today, or the videos tomorrow where I go over the top teams. I do not have those Pokemon. I have a lot of level 40 because before XLs were a thing, I built it up to play in the Master League, but now it's Master League Open. So how do you go about dust in GBL, and what Pokemon are worth building and not worth building? So I take a few approaches to this. So the first thing is I always want to have a reserve. I know a lot of people, when they see content creators put out a team, they want to try it out. So they like build up Pokemon. But a lot of these content creators, such as myself, like, I'm probably on one of the shorter ends of the content creators because I'm thinking of like Yonkis, Home Slice, Though, Kang, like, they have way more dust. They put a lot of time and money into GBL, and it's a huge investment for them because it pays out because they do content creation. So they have the dust to be able to build up and double move all these mods. You may not. So I would suggest that if you see these content creators putting out a team, don't FOMO it right away. Don't just go build up Pokemon, because a lot of time they are almost sometimes not useful long term. Sometimes they just want to showcase in one video and that's it. So how do I go about it? I would always have a reserve. My reserve a long time ago was 5 million dust. So if you're like a newer player and you want to like build up Pokemon just to try and compete, I would build up like 1 or 2 Pokemon that you can just use constantly and just go with that team until you get like a reserve of a certain amount, and then from there you can decide what you want to do moving forward. So pick your number. It doesn't have to be like mine was 5 million. Obviously it depends on how much you play and what your priorities are. It doesn't need to be that high. It can be like 1 million, 2 million dust, whatever. In terms of building Pokemon, I would say the focus for you moving forward should be Great League first, Ultra League, and then Master League. And I'll tell you why. Because if you go through the schedule, there will always be more Great League long-term ones, because whenever they have these specialty cups, they're always in the Great League, and they usually run simultaneously with the Ultra League and sometimes the Master League. So you'll have Open Great League a couple times, and then you'll have like a Great League Fighting Cup, Great League Electric Cup, Great League Love Cup, Great League Halloween Cup, right? It's all the Great League. So if I were you, given that Great League will show up in some form, probably like, I haven't gone through the statistics, but I'm guessing 60 to 70% of the time in a season, my focus for you would start with Great League. So where do you go in the Great League to build up? I am of the opinion that use the ones that you know have been strong over time and will continue to be strong. You don't need to like Noctowl is a funny one, right? Everyone jumped on Noctowl because it got the wing attack buff and it became like sort of OP, right? So everyone has a Noctowl, which means everyone is now building steels or rock or everything to deal with it, right? And you're fighting the meta. But what I found is there are some Pokemon that just since season 1 have been strong and they continue to be strong. Altaria, Azumarill, I mean, Galarian Stunfisk came around a little later, but I mean, Registeel was season 1, but Galarian Stunfisk, Swampert with Hydro Cannon, right? So if I were newer to the game and I had to focus on Pokemon, I always start with those Pokemon, the ones that have just been around since season 1. Let me just actually go to sort of the rankings for Great League and Ultra League here. And I'll tell you which ones I would focus on for like, if you just go to the top 20 and just think about which ones have been around for a while, like Stunfisk, Swampert, Pelipper I'll talk about buffs in a minute there. Altaria, even Shadow Machamp has been around for a while. Sableye. Like these are ones, Umbreon is still on here. These are Pokemon that have been around in the Great League for a long time, since like season 1 and 2, and they're still like top 25 ranked. And it's because they either have bulk, just generally strong matchups across the board, something like that. For Ultra League, like Giratina Altered has been one of the top 1, Swampert, Cresselia. Now we're getting into like the Virizion stuff, which is sort of newer. I'll go over when you should pump into that. Ultra League is trickier though, because Ultra League has changed and you're gonna not have, before it was, so there's Dragonite at 32, so Dragonite at 32. I'm trying to look at all the old ones here, but they're not as prevalent anymore. Escav, down at 47 now. It used to be way higher, because now you got a bunch of XLs in Ultra League. So how do you balance? So first thing I would do is Great League core that's been around for a while. You can also supplement it with Great League. I wouldn't build them right away if you don't have like the dust and the candies, but Great League Pokemon that now are meta. Metachamp, Trevenant to a certain extent. Trevenant's lost a bit because of Noctowl, so Noctowl. So now you can, that's where your reserve comes in. Your reserve comes in when there is a change in a move that substantially changes the meta, like Wing Attack did with Noctowl and Charizard. Like those have become, Wing Attack, Noctowl in Great League is one of the top 5 metas. Charizard Wing Attack has become super meta in this league, and it's okay and open, and that's why I built it, because it also has plain open league. So like a lot of people also like not rage build, but like saw a content creator and is like, oh, a Golem is pretty strong against Charizard and a Ninetales, so I'm going to build one up. It's like, yes, you will do great this week. It's not going to have much play in outside limited cups. Like it's ranked like 100 and 150, 200 something in open Ultra League, which is like where it's going moving forward. So your options are going to be more limited with that Pokemon. So that's why I'm kind of against rage building certain niche Pokemon if you don't have the dust. In terms of when do you put dust into mons that are now meta relevant, and how long do they stay meta relevant? For example, Nidoqueen is like a prime example, because Nidoqueen was nowhere to be found, and then Poison Fang and Poison Jab got a buff. So then everyone built it up because it was OP in Great League and Ultra League, and it was around for like 3 or 4 seasons, and then it got nerfed, and now it's nowhere in either because it got nerfed. So the question is like, when if something gets a buff, like Noctowl with Wing Attack got a buff, and everyone put dust into it and candies into it and built it up, there's nothing that's gonna stop Niantic in a couple seasons from now like nerfing Wing Attack again. Like they could theoretically, right? So I take the approach of, I first focused on the meta that's been around for a long time. The second thing I focus on is Community Day Pokemon. right? And it's not even necessarily like the community day move, like Obstacle with Obstruct. It's community Pokemon that have a lot of play in Great League and Ultra League. So, for example, Walrein had super play in Great League and Ultra League. Those were worth powering up because you should have the candies for it. Obstagoon, a little up there. Like I mentioned, Swampert already with Hydro Cannon. That's a beast. So a lot of these community days are pretty easy go-to for me because for the most part, most will be somewhat relevant, not totally relevant, but somewhat relevant in a lot of these leagues. And then you can, your third, how I go from there is think about what you have built in the Great League and Ultra League and think about what works with that team. Do you want to run like a safe swap with it? So do you need to focus on a safe swap? Do you need to build? Are you lacking a fighter? Are you lacking a ghost? Are you lacking a dark? So then I would kind of like fill the pieces in with what Pokemon are outstanding on your squad to make your team complete. And that's how I go about using my dust. So I've got like, I'm approaching 10 million again for like the third or fourth time. Master League, I won't have any open Master League. I'll be playing Master League Premier Classic this entire week because I've got a bunch of Pokemon for there. Although watch the video tomorrow, there's like 10 to 15 Pokemon that you can use. And then we'll move forward from there. So that is my advice on building Pokemon, what you should do with Dust. And that is it. So check out 2 videos tomorrow, one in the morning on Master League Premier Classic, one in the afternoon on Master League Open, teams for both. And that's it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.